One of the fastest developing infrastructure projects in the world, the Delhi Metro has revolutionized the way commuters travel and given the capital a new identity. And it's one man, a builder who was also a visionary, who made all this possible.
At 8 in the morning, Dr. E. Sreedharan leaves for his office. 9 years ago, this Indian Railways engineer was heading the Konkan Railway project. A 760-kilometer long railway line that ran across the west coast of India. Through 2,000 bridges, 92 tunnels, hard rock, soft soil and sheer disbelief. Through Sreedharan's determination and no-nonsense approach, the project was completed against all odds, in time and on budget. A crowning achievement for a man who sees problems as challenges. Dr. Sreedharan was the natural choice to spearhead the development of the Delhi Metro.
I initially moved in here with a core team from Konkan Railway itself. Then started taking people from the railways whom I knew earlier. And then started forming the team. And of course, even people who joined me, they did not know much about metro and metro technology, so we had to educate them.
Sreedharan's first task was to convince Japanese investors that this project would be handled like no other. He and his team set about assuring them in the best way engineers can, by building. They decide to build 8.5 kilometers in 4 years, an almost impossible deadline by Indian standards, where red tape can delay projects by years. Sreedharan hoped that their success would convince investors that it would be a sound investment. But it wasn't free of risks, and he only had a small amount of government money available. It was a dangerous gamble. If he succeeded, a world city would have one of the longest, state-of-the-art metro systems. If he failed, the opportunity to propel Delhi into the 21st century would be lost. It could even jeopardize the 2010 Games. Work started on the 8.5-kilometer stretch linking East and West Delhi, including a 533-meter span bridge over the river Yamuna. Sreedharan hoped that this would be enough to impress the investors. But building the bridge was a challenge in itself. It was estimated that the construction of just this bridge alone would take more than 2 years. The investors couldn't wait that long.
So we used a new challenge, a new technical solution, what is known as an incremental launching method. The whole girder is a single piece, continuous girder of 620 meter long, launched from one edge without any support from the bottom. The floods are there, or the rains are there, whatever happens, the bridge can be built.
They had achieved the impossible. The bridge, its piers, together with 6 stations, 8.5 kilometers of elevated tracks, and 6 parking lots were built in 4 years, right on schedule. The investors were impressed and the loan secured.
It was E. Sreedharan's vision that has been executed on the ground. The father of 21st century infrastructure creation in India, what's amazing is that he achieved all this while heading a PSU. Sreedharan leaves behind the fastest growing metro network anywhere in the world. One that ferries over 16 lakh passengers on weekdays through over 2,500 trips. At the end of his long and successful tenure, Sreedharan is proud to have done his bit in transforming commuters' lives.
We started with nothing. Now we have produced 190 kilometers of metro for Delhi. It's a very satisfying experience.
It's in this quiet, modest office, without too many files, that ideas were sowed and reaped. A work culture created that set new benchmarks.
All the people here, they draw the government salaries. So a middle level engineer, I would say deputy chief engineer for that matter, his take home maybe for about 20,000 rupees a month. That's all.
And what would be yours, sir, right now?
Mine. If you see my take home, after deducting all the income tax and other things, hardly about 30,000.
Normally out of record.
I personally feel it is the job satisfaction they get here, the exposure they get, the new technologies, new work ethics, and the opportunity for learning many things. That makes the market value so high. Once they work here for 2 years and 3 years, they can go out and command a salary which is 20 times the salary. It is possible.
Chris, are you going to put up a main lift?
Sreedharan stressed the expansion of all transport systems to ensure better functioning of the metro.
When the metro gets completed, the bus system has got to be remodeled.
The bus system has to
be remodeled.
And in Bangalore, in the main areas?
Same. All the cities, the same applies.
His days at the DMRC involved extensive travel. But even when away, his heartbeat was always recorded. For this is what symbolized Sreedharan all these years. The reverse clock. It served as a constant reminder of how many days were left before the deadline for completion of a project.
When did you first conceive of such a clock that will remind the employee that the project has to be on schedule?
In the Kudramukh project, the then CMD, I think one Mr. Khanna, he started this. So when I got the opportunity to handle the Konkan Railway project, first thing I did was to go and meet Mr. Khanna and find out how he managed to complete this project on time. So one of the tips he gave me was this clock. I tried to introduce in Konkan Railway, and it was a runaway success, I should say. That clock keeps everybody on their toes.
At the work site, he remained a hard taskmaster.
You have to make it perfect. Otherwise, it will derail. One of these days, it will derail.
His energy has always been infectious. Scrambling down the stairs, meeting all the workers, Sreedharan's energy level has left a lasting impression on the foreign contractors. They almost worship him.
The first project we have managed to finish 9 months ahead of schedule, and this is certainly because of Mr. Sreedharan pushing us so much and of course supporting us.
Everybody respect and he's helping like a god.
We call him the Godfather, you know. But what he has installed, established, and for example for safety standards and also design standards, it's like European standard.
Then after this moves, you add up by rings behind. Rings behind. You can see the rings are put behind.
Infrastructure builder, institution builder. Terms which have stuck to E. Sreedharan. Here was a man who could find his way around almost any problem.
In Old Delhi, in 2002, it wasn't that easy. Although the building foundations had been strengthened, the project ran into problems. Earth in the northern end of the tunnel under Old Delhi was found to be unpredictable. Rocks gave way to loose soil and hard earth. Worse still, it was surrounded by water. The tunnel boring machine was wearing down its teeth. It caused a serious delay.
Each day's delay of this project, we found, was costing DMRC 1.3 crores of rupees. And that was one thing that was driving all of us. We can't afford to lose even a single day.
To overcome the problems, the engineers adapted the NATM, the new Austrian tunneling method, for the first time in India. Hard rock was blasted by explosives, which paved the way for the boring machines. These machines formed the tunnel shape and lined it with concrete. Tracks were then laid, overhead electrical rails set up, signaling and communication cables put in place. At 30 meters, it's one of the deepest metro stations in the world. 21st century technology, running beneath a culture centuries old. A link had been forged between Delhi and Old Delhi. Now, for the first time, commuters and shoppers alike could enter Chandni Chowk, the heart of Old Delhi, with ease.
This was a man whose second working life began after 60. Sreedharan didn't waste a minute even when he was in the car. His mind was working all the time.
The secretary is not available tomorrow.
It was his trusted man Friday and OSD, AKP Unni, who accompanied him everywhere. He took notes of every thought that came to the good manager's mind. And like a good salesman, Sreedharan flaunted his company's logo. When he set out for his inspection rounds, everyone was on their toes. Sreedharan's eagle eyes rarely missed a thing.
See, a lot of dust on the steps. Last night this fellow has not cleaned it properly.
A broken patch, a grimy staircase, it mattered that minor details were instantly attended to.
See, dust. Huh? He has not cleaned it at all yesterday. This can't be in one day.
He was recognized and admired.
We are not good.
सर आपके दर्शन हो गए आज हरिओम गुप्ता लेक्चर दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी.
He learned to take that in his stride. He needed security, something he didn't like but had to put up with. Sreedharan made it a point to travel by the metro as well, to take in the kind of people using the network and to iron out any small glitches.
Even the rich people also will come after about 10 years when they find that there's no place to park their cars.
He was fully aware of the terror threat to the metro.
CISF people, as you say, who are keeping complete control.
They are well trained, particularly trained for a system like, we give them special training. Once they are deputed for this metro safety, then we give them special training.
The terror alerts must be coming in from the government, from the ministry, and accordingly you all take
yes, we get the intelligence reports. Based on that, immediately normally we call it a red alert.
He never piloted the train, but always looked comfortable in the driver's cabin. Looking out at the rapid transit network, he helped build and expand.
You have also learned the art of driving this train?
No. I'm not authorized.
You're not authorized.
When the train stopped and the driver looked out to see if the doors have shut, Sreedharan was quick to caution him.
He has got a mirror there. No, that will show. There's no need.
But he's taking an additional...
there's no need for you to look out, really speaking. Oh, you're rich.
He made it a point to strike a chord of friendship with his employees.
Thank you, Uncle. Yeah, right.
A good rapport with his staff and a keen business acumen, there are very few Indian technocrats who have as good a sense of money as the metro man.
Our criteria is we will have a staff strength of less than 40 people per route kilometer.
Okay.
That's our maximum.
Per route kilometer.
Yes.
Okay.
You see, enough to pay off the debts.
So in the days to come, DMRC, like the parent Indian Railways, will become a slightly profit-making company?
Yes, there's no doubt about it.
His corporate consciousness helped him retain a core team, helped battle the attrition and buying out of his senior colleagues by the invading private sector. One of the many reasons why his personal support staff stuck by his side for nearly 2 decades.
20 साल हो गए सर ये है कि वो अच्छा आदमी करके हमको लेके आए रेलवे से कि आप कोंकण रेलवे आए और फिर कोंकण रेलवे से मेट्रो में लेके आए.
इनकी नक्शे कदम पे जो भी चलेगा वो हमेशा कामयाब रहेगा. हाँ, क्योंकि
तो आपको लग रहा है आप भी कामयाब हैं?
बिल्कुल मैं कामयाब हूँ, 100% कामयाब हूँ.
The corporate culture that he started has helped define how the DMRC will be different from other government institutions.
We had problems as far as the governmental working is concerned, but a person like him, who is like Arjuna, he only looks at the Lakshya.
Sreedharan's days at the DMRC were packed with activity. More meetings, multiple inspections.
Yesterday, when I was going to Central Secretariat, 2 things I noticed. One was the station entrance was very dusty. Very dirty. My litmus test is I'll just with my finger see the floor and see whether it's that on my finger. When you go around, you must have an eye for such small details.
Sreedharan was ready in his battle gear to take on engineering problems.
So the crane is all right now.
Not just a great manager, Sreedharan made land acquisition into an art. Politicians could take a cue from how he convinces people. Sending packers and movers to their houses, Sreedharan ensured no stone was left unturned in completing his metro dream. When school authorities wouldn't let go of their land, his diplomatic approach won them over.
We sat across the table and then explained to them what exactly we are going to do here and what benefit it will bring ultimately to the school. Because we are going to have an entrance here, children can go straight from the metro into the school. These things were told to them, and then we said that we will carry out the work in such a way that minimum inconvenience will be caused to the school. Some inconveniences are inevitable.
An attribute that served him well when the DMRC was hit by bad press. In July 2009, a section of an overhead under-construction bridge collapsed, killing 5 workers on site and injuring several others.
I take full moral responsibility for this accident, and having taken this moral responsibility, I have decided to resign as the Managing Director of Delhi Metro Rail Corporation.
But Sreedharan's efforts to ensure greater safety stood him in good stead. Commuters stood by the architect of the metro system, their faith in him renewed as more lines were added and no more mishaps reported. For India's millions, E. Sreedharan may be a visionary who built dreams of steel and brick, but he ran the DMRC much like his life.
Santa Barbara and Vishwakarma, cohabitation of very different gods in dangerous working conditions. Faith and spirituality play a crucial role in Delhi Metro Rail Corporation.
The Karma Yogi is a deeply spiritual person. To E. Sreedharan, God can be in his mind anywhere. He is not a plain idol worshipper. He's a Vedantist. The universal presence of God is manifested even in
a tree standing there. How does it register that it's a tree in your mind?
Exactly.
It's not merely mechanical things. It is there is a divine thing working in everyone.
There is something sacrosanct about the family as well.
She also does all the license with the children, because I don't get time to speak to them every now and then. So she talks to them in turn, find out what are the problems, and then convey to me, this is the thing, this is the help they want.
And that view on the importance of the family is transmitted to the entire staff.
I encourage my staff also to do it. Go for a walk or something, go with the spouses. You know, that makes a lot of difference. Absolutely. You relax, you unburden your mind, you share your difficulties, share your achievements.
His wife is the most important person in his life. They share everything, even their prayers. Yoga is also part of the daily routine. He believes that once you have mind control, the body falls in line. The walk again is a string of moments he spends with his wife. And then the frugal breakfast. This is his heaviest meal of the day.
Normally I have a very heavy breakfast.
He goes back to the pictures of his youth,
1, 2, 3.
moments he has shared with his entire family.
Son-in-law.
Okay, he's a grandson.
He's a grandson.
His 4 children, their wives and the 9 grandchildren. This cover tells the story of his life. Train models cohabiting with clocks.
Shall we go now? Oh, we are all ready.
Whatever happens, whatever the crisis, the metro man will never be late. Even as he hands over the reins and returns to his native village of Palakkad in Kerala.
May we call upon Mr. Sreedharan.